Next presentation by Mark van der Poel. He is the product developer and co-founder of Drie agency. I'd like to give him a warm round of applause and welcome to the stage. Ja, kan altijd. Ik moet er iets voor vinden. Ja. Zo. Yes. There you go. What? Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, so thank you. And I used to have more hair, like you saw in the picture before. But my name is Mark. I'm from Drie. We're good. I'm sorry. Come on. There we go. Sort of. Yeah. So we're a UX and UI design product team based in Rotterdam. With clients actually all over the world. So we help products and help teams grow and gain more market and better products. So you probably all already noticed, you have an idea, but you don't know how to get there. So that's where we come in. So what we do is actually help create a path to get to where the idea where you want to go. There's an end goal, there's struggles on the way. We help you identify them and we help you actually get there. So what that means is, in all the years of experience we've been doing this, that we've got about 20 years of experience in the media industry. There's always going to be problems that you encounter. There's always going to be problems that other people have encountered. And those problems are actually interesting because that's what makes you unique. If you solve a problem that everybody in the same market have, you can actually grow on beyond that. And that's what we like to do. We love those big hairy problems. We love solving those problems because that sort of gives us energy as well. I'm actually going quite fast, but that's okay. So that means we won't just lock ourselves up and design for about 3 weeks and then throw you a design and say, here's your solution, good luck with it, bye. No, we'll be there with you all the way. So we're actually in it for the long run. That means that once you actually start using the product and start trying it and testing it, that's when it becomes interesting because then you actually find out better what works and what doesn't work and how to improve on that, the things that do work, how to grow on that, and the things that don't work, how to sort of ease into that and stop spending money on that and go on with other stuff to focus on. So, because of that, the plan always comes together because we do a lot of small tests, a lot of iterations, a lot of things that we tried and find out, and that way there is always an outcome, always a result. It's either positive, it's going well, keep focusing on this, you grow with this, or it's negative and we sort of catch that quite fast and you can sort of stop spending money, stop spending time on that, focus elsewhere and continue growing and growing and growing. And that's our main focus on growing the product through design. So there's ways of doing this, right? There's always terms, there's always new hypes popping up. You notice a lot of these, but there's one thing that we focus on mostly, and that's been around for quite some time, and we think that's the most important part of making an application, making a website, making a service actually work quite well, which is emotion. So let's talk about emotion for a bit. Can change the way you experience something that you've all experienced probably before. Well, I've got a sort of an example which doesn't really suit me, but it's an example of my colleagues, and you'll find out quite fast why it doesn't suit me. So my colleague, he loved to go running, right? So he loved to go running for miles in the park. Really enjoyed it, got a lot of energy out of it, helped clear his mind, got a lot of fresh air. He noticed getting better and better and better. And at some point, he thought, well, this is nice. I'll buy an Apple Watch, put it on, snap it on there, I can track my stuff, and you can actually see himself improve. And after some time, he stopped running. He spent some more time at home, he got a kid, he started to look a bit more like me, and then he decided, well, I really need to start running again. So, so what he did after some time, he got back in his gear, snapped on the Apple Watch, and then went back to the park and started running. And what happens is that all the positives that he had before, all the energy that he got out of it, all the great feeling, it was suddenly gone. Because he couldn't run as fast anymore, he couldn't run as long anymore. And he kept getting reminded of that by his watch saying, you're not doing as well. So by that, he actually, something that used to give him a positive emotion, now suddenly gave him a negative emotion. And actually stopped running again, because the negative emotion was too hard to overcome to go on with positive ones. And that's something that's actually not just about life, but about any interaction, any website, any application that you use. So every interaction counts. There's a secret of the top growth people that look at every interaction that you use with an app or a website as an emotional event that happens. So what that means is that everything you do, everything you encounter, is either something positive or something negative. And based on that, you either continue or you stop, or you're neutral when you go on anyway. But by knowing that and understanding that and managing it, you can actually use it to influence the people in going either further or stopping where you want them to stop. Or you basically don't want them to stop, you want them to continue, of course. And that's called emotion-driven UX. And it's really simple, actually, if you understand it. So let me take you through it quite fast. There's a simple graph here. Let's say, for example, you have a friend that says, well, I've got this app, it's awesome, it helps you manage your wealth. You're like, okay, sort of skeptical, you go into it. But you download the app, your first impression is like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. It's quite neutral. So you open the app, and there's a compelling offer. First screen you see is well, you're going to save money with this. Nice, I want that. I need that. And then you notice, well, this app actually looks really well. It's well designed, it looks secure, it's got nice text to it. I understand what it is from the first impression. So you're like, yeah, I'm quite hyped now. Let's head on, let's continue. Let's find out what it is. Enter your email address. Like, okay, I guess I have to. I'm not entirely sure what this app will do for me. I haven't looked around yet. All it says is it will give me more money. But fine, let's continue. I'll enter my email address. But you see the hype factor sort of going down. You're like, And next up, enter credit card details. Like, you know. So at that point, you might either continue or you're like, yeah, screw this shit, I'm out. And you got that. So that's sort of an easy example of how it works in a graph. But these kind of things happen, and they happen way too often. So I've got an example app here, and I didn't actually want to insult anyone, so I sort of copied the entire flow of the app, but replaced the logos. So it's safe. But believe me, this is an actual flow, something that's actually happening in a quite a big app. There's a lot of money in that. And this is how the flow went. You start up, you see a logo. Okay, minimal design. Fine. Next up, they would like to send you notifications. For what? I don't even know what the app is about yet. So the first thing it asks me is location or notifications. Like, there's like 50-50 chance I'm just going to press no now, because I don't know what they were going to send me. I don't know if it's relevant for me. But whatever. Continue. So okay, what is this? Sign up or sign in? Okay. I guess this works for me. I still don't know what it is, but let's sign up. Okay, that's a lot of questions. Okay, so first name, last name, email address, password, and confirm password. Sure. Let me fill that in. So notice the hype factor is going lower and lower, but we're enthusiastic, so we're like, oh, okay, let's continue. Please verify your email address. Okay. So this means I'm going to be taken out of the flow of this app. I need to go into my email to verify my email address, right? But guess what? I use Gmail. So this function asks me now to download the default mail app back onto my phone. It's effort. Anyway, I go to my email client manually. I find the mail. Still really doesn't say anything what it's supposed to do, but I verify my email address. At least I'm done now. So it opens the browser. It asks me to open in the unspecified app because I don't want to ruin anyone's life. And enter your phone number. Well, I've gotten this far, so let's just continue, right? I don't feel like it anymore, but let's go. Enter your date of birth. Still don't know what the app is about. Enter your ad. Okay, and then I'm like, fuck it. I'm gone. So this is not an exaggeration. This exists. This is an app. So what do we learn from that? There's three key things that are relevant to these scenarios. One is create positives. I'll go more into that a bit in a minute. So create positives, ask for the bare minimum, and explain why. So let's look at create positives at the moment. So like I said before in the graph, there are moments that are positive and which you can actually use. So there's always going to be questions that you have to ask at some point. You have to sign up, so you have to ask for an email address or a phone number, etc. So create positives, create hype factors before that, so that the person is actually a bit hyped and he doesn't feel like, I don't know what this is, I'm not sure I'm going to do that. So as a little example, there's an app we recently made called Revenue. Is it playing? It's not playing.
Time for one more time.
Oh, you're getting a text message, sorry. I tapped that one. So yeah, Revenue. So
no.
Yeah, there we go. So create positives. When you start up the app, there's an instant aha moment. What does it do? It generates value. It creates the highest return in your investment. All right, I know what it is. Automatically trade. Awesome. So there's, before we even go into, please sign up, please give us your details. There's a couple of things that gives you like, this is what the app is about. And this is actually quite simple. There's many apps that do this, just simple sliders. But there's also many apps that just forget about this. And they feel like signing up is more important than actually telling you what the app is about. So by just explaining things and giving them moments to appreciate what they're looking at, you sort of heighten the hype factor, and then you can start asking questions. The moment you do start asking questions, don't ask too many. So for this one, again, this example, sign up with your mobile number, you get a code, you enter it, you're done. You might need more information, but you might not need all that information right now. Of course, you want to be able to send push notifications. You want their name and address, etc., etc., etc. But you don't need that the second they enter your platform. You can always sort of create a standard profile and then like add features when they add more to the profile, or at some point ask, could you just fill in to enable that action, stuff like that. Just keep it simple for the users. Keep it easy to access, and then you get more users in there. And there are moments that you are going to have to ask questions. Do you want to share locations? At some point, you're going to have to. This is actually quite popular nowadays, priming for awkward and hard questions. So don't just throw a pop-up in there saying, we want to send you notifications. Just explain to them why you want to send them notifications. What do you want to show me? So this is in this scenario, we've gone through a whole onboarding flow. There's the fake algorithm that you activate, and it says, well, you could have earned money now. Would you like to earn actual money? Please send you notifications when you've earned some money. No one's going to say no when there's money involved. So asking the right questions, asking the right moments is key in this. And then there's a slight bonus tip, the aesthetic usability effect. It's a mouthful, but it simply means, and Don Norman has a great book about this, it's quite old actually already, called Emotional Design. What it means is that if something looks good, people expect it to work good as well. So in short, a good UI that works bad is more appreciated and is more effort put into than a bad UI that actually does work, and people sort of get sick of it faster. So there's a, yeah, going fast. So as an example here, there's a UI that looks good, and you're like, oh, I'm interested in this. This is Potato's homepage that we did. But because you sort of have an aesthetic feeling about this, and like, oh, it looks nice, you're more willing to put more effort into it. Even though it's not the case, but even though the experience behind it and the whole flow behind it might be bad. It's not the case. But that doesn't mean that emotion equals UX. It's just a really big key part of it. Emotion is sort of the core of UX. If you have bad emotions during your process, you're not going to like the UX. Doesn't matter how it looks. Going way too fast. It's already almost the end. So our approach is everything we do is a result of deep insights into what people really need, feel, and desire. So that's what we focus on when we build a project and help people grow with that project. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your insights.